everybody, and welcome to Reed's Spider-Man Crawl Space Edition. I am, of course, your host, Ryan Reed, and please check us out the Spider-Man Crawl Space at spidermancrawlspace.com. Due to some different little issues that are going on in my home right now, I'm, of course, doing for live stream reviews until December here, and then in January 2025, I'll kick off with new features on my usual green screen here, too. So I decided to get ahead and kick everything off here with our new intro and our new pieces here, of course, to review Amazing Spider-Man 61, aka 955, and legacy numbers here by Joe Kelly and Ed McGuiness as this storyline kicks off with the 8 deaths of Spider-Man. So as we go into this, I'm of course do our normal pros and cons into this here, and of course give the overall grades and thoughts on this process. So I'd like to thank you everybody who's joining us today on the live stream, and of course for our main review here as we do this too. I hope everybody enjoys this little feature, and to know it's only temporary in the meantime, because after all, we love do it because otherwise it just wouldn't be Reeds without the old happy pain bot ready to go. So let's go ahead and see exactly how everything was set up here for Amazing Spider-Man 61 account thing. So let's go ahead and get this going, everybody. So let's hit the pros and go ahead and start with the pros, shall we? So as you can see here, I actually enjoyed it. The artwork actually works very well here by Ed McGuiness. I enjoyed a lot of the pieces here of the main part of the storyline. I do like the artwork here. It just feels like an old fashioned kind of feel to Amazing Spider-Man and some pieces on this. So I really do like the artwork. Another thing that was actually also really good about this part on here too was actually the concept of the Scions, which means the sons of Sidorak. Something that was done for a lot of pieces. Sidorak was a very large character and has been one of the Marvel Universe's big characters, mostly in the X-Men books, but has of course evolved as time goes. Of course, the Juggernaut and men here too. And believe it or not, there was a talk right here where Joe Kelly actually had some thoughts about this back when he wrote on X-Men about 20 years ago. Hard to believe it's been that long. And I do write the areas here about how Dr. Doom is talking about the different threats the Sorcerer Supreme does and why he's doing his power is the introduction here. Me and Sintress actually was a very interesting little area here. I actually like the example. It's really good little part here, and Ed McGuiness really works with this really part of the storyline. And I have to believe that when Spider-Man does get his new costume, actually defeats him basically using a type of wormhole to collapse Citrus into is actually cool as we get the first cause of death. And this is really interesting how it is because he talks about, as he says, spaghettification, which is a well-known too, what they say as a person is actually compressed and ripped apart as Spider-Man. It's actually very gruesome and yet has a very realistic take in here, where it actually works really well. And I do like the fact we have Phil Coulson, who of course explains him as his new entity of death after what happened in the Infinity Comics here too, that he now works with the different areas of that for the honor of the process. It's a very interesting concept. And of course, there's a very interesting piece here. We actually find Doctor Strange is still involved in this storyline. Not much has been talked about since Doctor Doom became the new Sorcerer Supreme in the Bloodlines story arc for Blood Hunt, and the fact that we have all this happening in the main Fantastic Four. So it's very interesting to have him come in as being kind of almost the astral spiritual guide over to there. So it's a very nice little concept. However, as we continue into the storyline here, I mean, we've got to go into the cons of this. So I kind of mentioned this myself too. First of all, is the fact that basically Spider-Man doing his little thing with burnout, which is apparently feels like a joke on on the main part of Joe Kelly as a joke, because after all, burnout, of course, it means how the reader feels out. Everything seems to happen here with Doctor Strange, Doctor Doom, I should say, not Strange, coming in here to basically say, "I need you, Spider-Man, to fight these different ones because you need to be my areas. We need to take care of these Scions of Sidorak because Doom has other things to do." It feels like it's kind of thrown here. In a way, it works, but another thing is the part of how it is. And the fact that Spider-Man actually rejects him. And of course, Doom knows this. And what ends up happening is you actually have Spider-Man actually get in the past with Sidorak. And of course, he can't beat him. He's very injured. He's thrown out. He's probably going to die. And he basically says, "I can give you the armor and you can do what I want to." "Okay, I do it. Accept. I accept." It's kind of goes back to when, of course, Spider-Man got the electrical goblin suit for Norman Osborn. "I'm going to die against the Vulture." Here we get the point that there is a more thing, since he's finally a demigod deity from one of the signs and everything else too. But it feels like Spider-Man basically now he gets very desperate into his part here. And why the costume is a very cool mystical area of how it works, as he says, it's life restoring the reeds of Ragondor, which of course is a healing spell that helps him to fight as Peter. It does kind of do it here, and of course, Sidorak is not understanding how to fight somebody like Spider-Man. So it's a kind of interesting concept. However, we also get more pieces of the problem, like the supporting class. Believe it or not, this is the most Aunt May has been used in quite a little time that was done on the last run with Zeb Wells. Another issue here, too, is we get over with Peter, despite getting a severance pay, apparently he's supposed to get paid Friday. So he's kind of bails out on everybody. So we have everything with him with his pictures going up so he doesn't get the money from here. The fact he's kind of dodging his responsibility and basically he's saying, oh, I couldn't do it. I have to go call a friend, Aunt May kind of thing. Basically, this is back to Peter is a loser. He cannot do finances. His friend's like, boy, why does he do this? I don't know. And then basically, as Shay says, this is him avoiding his problems. And of course, this little shout out with Shay saying, I thought he had an actual GI problem. And then I realized he's just full of crap. And May goes, I like you, Shay. It's like, who is this person? Who is it? This is not really the characters. They're basically ripping on everything about it's Peter's wrong. There's also a throw in here with Spider Boy, which kind of goes here. The artwork's a little off here. Like I said, you know, Bailey is supposed to be 10 years old. There's kind of a little piece about him about getting the areas and beyond it. But it feels like this is just kind of thrown in here to say, hey guys, Spider Boy, he's still a thing. He's still a mini. Come do it. And Joe Kelly kind of writes it before he tails off. It kind of feels out of place. Also, the main parts of this too. Like I said, we get Burnout was this kind of fire entity building, which is makes basically is a joke on Joe Kelly saying how the readers have felt burnt out on Spider-Man actually for years. He's one of the last brand new day writers to be on this. Also, the fact that Doom just kind of throws in, say, "Oh, you're desperate. Here, I can help you." Okay, thanks, Papa Norman. Oh, I mean Doctor Doom for giving his powers, and also right too when he's walking away, and the fact he's talking about how things aren't working out for Peter because it's always luck of Peter. So it kind of doesn't feel right for the parts on this here, and in a way, it just makes it feel like we're just kind of going ahead and doing different spins and everything else. I don't really get a lot of this parts here, and I'm really not sure exactly what Kelly is supposed to be doing with his story outlines. This feels more like a mini series than some big art, and the fact that it's actually done on the fact that it is meant to be a temporary storyline with him and the other two writers, Ireland and Bus, the Mia start here. I have to say, I have to give this thing a grade of a C, an even C. I can't really say much about it and everything here. It has its moments. I do enjoy the artwork, though. It does feel like a little bit of Ed McGuinness's work is not quite here. And of course, he's only on for a couple of issues before it switches to the next artist. It's not bad, mind you, but at the same time, is I kind of feel like this is just a fill-in spot. There's really not a lot of high stakes. It has some cool concepts with the costume and the powers, but I really don't have much else to say about this issue. So I'll give it a C. It's okay. It's nothing special, but that's just kind of where we are with this storyline in general as it is. So not bad, but at the same time is I kind of feel like we're just along for the ride until we get to the actual permanent placeholder on the book. So not bad, but it could have been a lot better. And it would have been nice if we would have actually felt like something that was done a little bit areas on this too. And I definitely feel my trains coming in right now as a thing. So I don't have much here. If you like this review and everything, think about, of course, liking or subscribing here to our area, or think of course, joining our Patreon page for more pieces on Spider Man and Amazing Spider Man at the Crawl Space here for our reviews and so forth. With that note, guys, I'd like to join you. Thank you for going here with Reads on this thing for a little bit of live stream low tech here introductions until January of 2025. Please check us out at the SpiderManCrawlspace.com for all your latest Spider-Man news, reviews, and more. And with that, guys, I hope to see you later. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.